All right, guys. So our final topic here is we're just going to kind of spitball on this whole recent comments by like Walter Hamada saying that like the Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League, is a cul-de-sac. But then we get conflicting information from other Warner Brothers reps or like sources with Warner Brothers reps that kind of indicate that there could be future plans for Snyder Cut content. And then we also have Zack Snyder doing an interview and having his own comments saying that he has no current plans for further installments, but anything's possible. But Zack Snyder himself has said in the past too that he had a plan for 5 movies, and he's only done 3 if you include Justice League. So at this point, I don't really know what to expect here, but we have this more recent article come out here suggesting that a Trinity movie for Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman depends on the success of Snyder Cut. And I'm just going to kind of reiterate exactly what I've been saying to like everybody, like on the show here. Why do they have such big ads on this website? Like, this is ridiculous. Why would you put like, it's like, where's the article? It's like broken up and all these stupid, like, what is this? Either way, I'm just going to say, here's the thing. They could say all they want to say about there not being any more plans and they're not going to do anything else, or, it's a cul-de-sac or whatever. But again, money talks. All right. If the Justice League Snyder Cut comes out and just HBO Max pops off in subscribers, they can literally get real-time analytics like suggesting how many people signed up on the release correlated to those same viewers if they watch the Snyder Cut, and then just go from there. If they can deem it a success, they will obviously go to Zack for more stuff. If they see value in it, value in dollar signs, it's gonna happen. And like, so it's like, I feel like this article is kind of a spaghetti on the wall kind of thing. But I mean, they do claim to have sources for it, so I mean, it is what it is. But either way, I've been saying it forever. It just comes down to money talks. So, I mean, Zack Snyder can say, right, like he just said in the recent interview, like this past week, I think, that he didn't have plans for it. But at the same time, he also said anything's possible in that very same interview. And then we all know he's had plans for 5 movies. So, what do you guys think? Do you think I'm crazy, or do you think I'm just too rational about it where it's like, no duh? Because I'm just kind of confused why. The only thing that's really confusing me is like why Walter Hamada will come out and say it's a cul-de-sac, but then like immediately after that there was a whole, like, I forget, we talked about it last week. He said he himself says something completely contradictory, and then they're bringing like Ben Affleck back for the Flash, and they're continuing the Flash, then they're continuing Wonder Woman. So it's like, is it really a cul-de-sac though? Because you're still building off of it. Like, no matter how you look at it, you're still building off of it.
I don't think you're crazy. I mean, it sounds like what you're saying makes sense, that there would be more. So I guess you have to wait and see. But I definitely don't feel like it's a cul-de-sac by any means. I mean, like you said, money talks. Justice League does well. Who knows what will happen?
That's why I think he specifically said cul-de-sac as opposed to a dead end. Yeah. Maybe he was just trying to be diplomatic because dead end sounds kind of shitty. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I could see like Zack Snyder kind of taking offense to, and anybody working on it kind of taking offense to that. But
I also think that we mentioned this last week on last week's show, how we thought that wording was peculiar to say the least, and that he didn't have to say dead end. He could have said that we don't have any more plans to work with Zack in the DCU after this, or something like that. Something a little more definitive, but also clearly make the impression that they were done. So I think all of this is very much. I think the cul-de-sac comment is sort of a CYA, cover your ass type deal. I think he's just covering himself so that fans don't have the expectation that more is coming. That way, if this bombs and fails, I mean, to be honest, you have to look at it from WB's community relations, public relations vision of it too. They've dealt with, ever since Zach was removed. And ever since there started to be these hints and these talks about what was going on with the Justice League movie and reshoots and replacing characters and rewrites and things like that. And then you have the movie come out and be critically panned. And then you have stories come out, further instigating this. And then you have the Snyder Cut movement that not only started, but my God, it was what, 2 solid years of release the Snyder Cut and bad press for WB about why they wouldn't let Zach's vision out and how there's this other cut of this mythical movie out there. So I think all of that ties into him just kind of trying to mute fan expectations and not give people the hope. And then that way they have the option to say, yeah, okay, Zach, this were gangbusters for us. This was more than we could have ever asked for. Hey, you know what? We'll sign you to a 5-picture deal right now, to make more content. But I think they're definitely covering their butts just so that if things don't go the way that everybody I think hopes they do, there's not that fallout from it that they experienced with Justice League.
Yeah, I'm with you too, and I think it's kind of foolish for anybody out there to think that somehow the Snyder Cut's just going to be some like amazing success, because Man of Steel, despite how amazing it was divisive.
Yeah.
BVS wasn't as good as Man of Steel, but it was divisive, more divisive than Man of Steel. So there's really no reason to expect that this also won't be divisive. Like,
it just shows that Zach's vision for the DCU is pretty divisive. So
yeah, it didn't resonate with the global audience. Like, it just didn't. Like, whether that's for better or for worse, it doesn't matter. It just didn't.
That doesn't mean that if all of those fans who were on the side of Zach and love that vision of it, if all of them get behind him and support this, and there's enough of them, it could push the needle, especially in the realm of streaming, for HBO to go to Zach and say, look, this worked on this platform. It may not work for a general movie-going audience, but my God, you've ensured us this diehard contingent of 10, 20, 30 million plus subscribers that love your vision of the DCU. We want to do more with you with this. So
that's kind of how I feel about it. Like,
no, and that's the thing too. Like, that's what I think they should be shooting for. And I think if the Zack Snyder's like DC universe is going to live on anyway, I think it will probably be on HBO, because for one, it just makes sense. Like, since they're doing the Snyder Cut thing as an HBO Max project essentially anyway, if it can drive those subscriber numbers up, keeping it contained in that environment would both behoove HBO and Warner Brothers, because they'll now have a popular IP that is actually driving their subscriber count. You know what I mean? Because like, for instance, what Game of Thrones did for HBO, like, they had that, and like that, like, now that was gone. We just did a story about it last week. The reports are suggesting that they lost up to, if not more than 50% of their subscribers once Game of Thrones ended. So yeah, maybe partly with people like that were unhappy with it, but in the end, more than likely, it was just because that's what they were watching. They were watching Game of Thrones. That was it.
That was the only thing.
Yeah, it's like they didn't watch anything else. So if the Snyder Cut can get enough people in there for them to see that maybe there's something here that we can continue on with more stories that are connected to this universe, whether it's Zach coming back to do a Justice League Part 2 or to do this proposed Trinity movie, if that was going to be like from Zach, sure. But maybe it's Ben Affleck's solo Batman movie. Maybe it's something else.
I was going to mention the Ben Affleck Batman movie. Yeah.
Like, maybe it's something else within like that world that would only exist there. It would benefit both, because then, as far as the cost goes, HBO is able to spend enough money on like a series. They were spending like $25 million an episode on Game of Thrones. So like, if it's enough for the Game of Thrones, as long as the Snyder Cut is pulling in enough numbers, gets enough subscribers in, I see no reason why it couldn't live on in some way, or at least finish off what Zach's vision is, or like I said, continue stories on like in some way on there, because like Superman movie, no, like that's gonna go to the theaters, like even if it's Henry Cavill, and obviously with Wonder Woman 2 the same way. They both of those movies, Man of Steel made like 600 to 800 million. Then Wonder Woman was obviously successful both times. I mean, I don't really know how successful. I'm actually curious because Wonder Woman was so divisive. I kind of wish it would have got a normal theatrical release because I would have liked to have seen how much money it actually made, because they had to pay out Patty and Gal as if it was going to make $1 billion. I don't know if it would have made $1 billion. In all honesty, I don't know if it would. Like, the first one didn't. This one wasn't as good, so I don't think it would have.
I would have. I would have gone. I would have ensured it.
You would have ensured.
See, I haven't seen it still, and I've got.
You spend enough money on a fake Wonder Woman thing, but you ain't got a lightsaber yet. Just
you gotta get a lightsaber. Yeah.
Oh man!
Next week we'll come on and we'll both have them just.
Soon,
John will just be.
I'm gonna recreate that
Stag
Vader
John.
scene just to send to John.
I'll film it for you.
Yeah, and then I'll get the Revan costume and everything too, and then I'll recreate it again. Just like every day, I'm just gonna keep downloading new sound fonts, and then like you'll be the first one I send it to. and then
tormenting me.
Yeah, then soon enough, you're just gonna be like, Nate, I got 4 of them coming.
Yeah.